Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick here. Hope everybody who's watching this is having an unbelievable day. I hope up until this point you've had an unbelievable year. And if you're watching it, I hope that everything that you have set out to do, you've accomplished. If not, you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. You know, that's one of my mantras. Look, I've been telling you guys about the Legacy Wealth program for months. It's something that was actually created years ago. And I've only worked with a few people, select few people, on getting it really, truly fine-tuned. Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody is getting a week off to a great start. It has been one of those days for me. But at the same time, it's where I want to be. It's me doing what I love. That's helping people. That's growing myself. That's being the best version I can be at any given moment, despite the challenges. For some reason, my camera's going in and out. I don't know what's going on. So you guys bear with me. But I promise you, this is something extremely important, something that I've been talking about for years, something that I have been extremely passionate about. It is both business and social advocacy for me. You've heard me talk over and over and over about the wealth gap. And I not only have written about it, I've not only have lectured about it, I have created avenues, opportunities, and presented solutions. This isn't some magical equation. This isn't some, there's this secret that everybody has and we can never have it. Yeah, it's a lot of hidden stuff. It's a lot of stuff that we aren't aware of, but it's a lot of conditioning, mindsets, and a lack of focus and understanding, and a system that is working against us. And I talk about that in great detail in my book, The War, which is my 25th book, The War on Black Wealth, Breaking the Code of Generational Wealth. I talk about all the different things that have been used against us over the last 155 years or so more to keep us at bay. But a lot of the things we do are things we can control. And those are the things that I want us to focus on, are the things that we control. And so what I did is about 10 years ago, I started to mine as in dig and search and look the minds of some of the greatest investors of our time. Some I got to talk to in person, others I got email responses from, others I've got written responses for, others I had to research and gain insight from a distance. But I spent 10 years learning from the likes of Sir John Templeton, Paul Tudor Jones, David Swanson, David turned, I want to say Yale. I always get Yale and Princeton thrown around, but turned Yale's $2.3 billion endowment into a $20+ billion endowment in less than 10 years. Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio manages the largest hedge fund in the world, $165 billion hedge fund. Jack Vogel, Mr. Index, Mr. Compound Growth himself. Kyle Bass, Mary Callahan Erdos, T. Boone Pickens. And the list goes on. I literally, if they were billionaires and they got their money by investing it, not by, I didn't go to Gates. He got his money from an idea. And he's brilliant. He put that idea to work and got it. Didn't go to Bezos, same thing. Didn't go to Musk, same thing. I went to the people who literally were able to take a market and turn their investment mind into multi-billion-dollar enterprises, because that's the purest level of it. And I wanted to get insight on it, and I wanted to put it into a course, and that's what I've done. But I want to, before I talk to you the course, but I am going to tell you about this course. This course is an 18-month course. It is the most comprehensive course I've seen on wealth building anywhere, because the thing is, it's not being taught. You either inherit the idea, the mindset, the focus, or you go out and you dig and you drudge and you connect with somebody mentors you, but it's not being taught on any level, not that type of way. You've been taught how to save. You've been taught putting your 401k. You've been taught all the things that'll get you through just enough to say that you were successful and other people to follow your path. That's not wealth building. That is money management, but it's not wealth building. I want to talk to you about wealth building because why? There's such a racial wealth, there's such a wide gap on a racial level, and the way it impacts us as a people is so significant, so much more than I can't buy a Rolls Royce, so much more than I can't travel what I want to. Those are superficial things. I'm talking about everything from health outcomes to mental health to education, and so much more is impacted by the power that comes with wealth, the ability to write the narrative, to gain access, to move. And there are some things that, because we are Black, that poverty impacts us differently. And so we need to understand the power of poverty and the power of wealth, and why it is our responsibility to develop the capacity, not just to make a good living. That's earning revenue. That's not wealth. Wealth is the ability to create a process through which your money earns you money at a level that it sustains the lifestyle you want to lead and provides not just the essentials, but many of the comforts that most people don't get to benefit from. But here's how strongly I feel about this course. Someone asked me, if you had to give a guarantee on this course, what would that guarantee be? I said it would be a guarantee that says, if by the time you complete this course, you have not earned the money you've invested in the course by using the principles in the course, I will not only refund your money, I'll pay you double. So I'll give you your money back and then pay you the equal value of what you paid. Now here's the thing. In order to get that guarantee, you've got to submit all your coursework and a written request. Look, here's all my coursework. I've tried this stuff. It didn't work. I will give you your money back, and I will pay you double, because it works. It works. This is race neutral. You put the things in. Now, there are some things out there that you're going to have to, this is not about a good old boy system. This is about simply understanding. It's about the things that are out there. When you sit up and you go on and you decide you want to buy into a passively managed index fund like the S&P 500, to take advantage of compound growth, they're not asking you what color you are. They're not asking you what gender you are. They're not asking you the background you came from. They're not asking you if you're from old money. They're just simply going to take the order and they're going to set you up, and you're going to be able to take advantage of that. Same thing with so many other applications. Now, some of the things where you're trying to get in on real estate deals, they still playing those games, but there are ways around that. And that actually is a special little section in how you get past getting the deals you want when people are literally blocking you because of your race. There are ways of getting around that. But there are so many things that don't require it. And I want to expose you to all of that. And I do. But I want to talk to you about why it's so important to understand the responsibility of building wealth. This is a little sort of shift in Money Monday. This is a Money Monday, but it's on a different level because it's so important. Because I spent the weekend just looking at where we're at and looking at some of the things. And I've actually been misquoting the race gap because I was going on old numbers. I was hoping I would go back and look at it, and we had actually reversed it and we were doing better. Not so. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But I want to just talk to you about something. We're in a situation that, regardless of wealth, far too many of our retired citizens are outliving their retirement. And that's because there's this mindset that you can literally save and create a nest egg for your later years. Number one is, I'm the type of person, I'm not retiring. I'm going to retire from the need to work, but I'm never going to retire because I'm here to do something. I'm here for a passion. And I also understand that cognitive decline begins when you stop using it. And I don't want to stop using my mind. I'm going to take every bit and every ounce of it, and I'm going to share it until I take my last breath. But I don't want to be chasing money my entire life. I want to be doing it because it's what I'm passionate about. So you have to have a plan. You have to build. You have to grow. You have to set that up. And all this stuff is in there. But this is what I want to talk to you about. A vast majority of people understanding they're outliving their savings. And one of the reasons is a lot of people made the mistake of either listening to foolish financial advisors or not truly understanding and making a decision on themselves that they were going to take the life expectancy of the average person in their particular demographic, and they were going to save from their retirement age enough to live off of annually to that point. The problem is a lot of people, the life expectancy for the average person, race not being considered, is 78.7 years. For female, I think 76 point something. For male, it's a little bit worse for Black men. But a lot of people live into their 80s and even into their 90s. And guess what? They're living out. Then there's a whole nother sector that are underprepared. They've saved some money and they got it up, and on the surface, if you look at it, say that's a pretty good savings until you realize I'm going to live 20 years after I retire. And you take that money you saved. The average person in between 55 and 64 has only saved enough money that they could split it between the average lifespan after retirement, and they would only be getting $310 a month. Now, add that to the fact that only there's a whole 33% that aren't prepared at all. 33% of the people in this country are not preparing to reach retirement age at all. So, and that's that. Now, we haven't even gotten into the disparages and disproportionality of disadvantage associated with race. This is just generally speaking. We are not handling our business the way we're supposed to. Now, when you start to talk about race, it becomes very interesting. So the racial gap is actually widening, and its impacting, and its impact is increasing. While whites check this out. While whites make up 60% of the population, they hold 84% of the wealth. Conversely, Blacks make up 13% of the population. We only hold 4% of the wealth. So they hold more of the wealth than they represent in population. We hold less of the wealth than we represent in population, and the disparity is huge. Matter of fact, the median household wealth for white, I've been saying 177, is 187. For Blacks, I've been saying 17, is 14,100. Median household for Hispanics, 31,700. You can sort of see how this thing isn't going our directions. We are consistently finding ourselves at the lowest rung of the socioeconomic ladder. And a lot of people look at it and say, well, it just means a lot of people can't do this. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people are struggling to pay this. A lot of people, that's on the superficial level. There's so many other things. We can make a direct correlation to health. We can make a direct correlation to the ability to provide an adequate education for our offspring, which is so important to increasing the capacity to earn a living wage. In other words, here's what I can tell you. Regardless of, here's what I can tell you. Being born into poverty has a different impact on Blacks than any other race. Being born into poverty comes with its disadvantages regardless of race. But if I'm born into poverty as a Black person, I am at a place where it is going to be disproportionately more difficult for me to work myself out of that poverty than any other group. Any other group could be born into the same level of poverty and will have an easier path working out of it than a Black person. This is scientific empirical data that I'm reciting to you. So what does that mean? That means that we need to start leveling the playing field all around. How do you level the playing field? Number one is we have to start building wealth so that fewer of us are birthing kids into poverty. Then we have to start creating the mechanisms. Here's one of the other things. As you create wealth, you also create the ability to be in control of who you give your jobs and opportunities to. So now there are more opportunities for our people, by our people, and less having to go off into situations where we know we're selling ourselves for pennies on the dollar just to make a living, just to get by. In other words, almost no matter how well you're being paid, from the person who's making minimum wage to the 6-figure to 7-figure person, let me tell you something. If they're paying you that amount, they're making 10 times minimum of that by using your skill set, your expertise, your your effort, and so forth. So you do what you do to have to make a living to pay your bills, but you also have to be aware of the fact that you're trying to create something that provides for you the opportunities that are going to project out beyond yourself. One of the things that I learned in studying these people, in interviewing these people, in talking to these people, and even reading on some people who are long gone, like John Rockefeller, the brilliance of using trust to project their wealth and protect their wealth from those they were projecting it to was absolutely a genius. In case you don't understand what John Rockefeller did, what John Rockefeller did is he did dual trusts. And what that meant is he created a trust to pass down the wealth that he was having. He was creating trust. He was passing down wealth that belonged to his children. But what he did is he split the trust. So the trust said that you can get half of what's in this trust. The other half goes to your offspring. And in order to receive what's in the trust that's yours, you have to create a trust, take part of your money and put it in a trust. So now your child has each one of your children has 2 trusts. And then you pass that down and the same law applies. So you're multiplying trust and passing it down, thereby protecting the wealth. In other words, you can't destroy the wealth I'm giving you, or you can't squander the wealth I'm giving you because you don't have access to it all. You're going to be forced to pass it down to another generation, at least a portion of it. And then there were all these other stipulations, but these unbelievable trusts, irrevocable trust, living trust, so many other things that we actually teach in this course is one of the ways you protect it. Nelson Rockefeller once was quoted as saying that the goal is to own nothing and control everything. He was talking about trust. The idea that we have to have our name on everything to prove that we own it, because that's how we prove we've arrived, is not. It's in the power of controlling what moves things. I don't have to own it. If I control it, it's all I need. It's the difference in having a corporation and having your having a corporation and having a sole proprietorship. The sole proprietorship is obviously yours. It's got your name on it. The corporation may not have your name on anything, but if you are controlling the corporation, if you are the one that is manipulating and pulling the strings with the board and all of the other things that are part of building a corporation, then you are still the one in control, and you're probably going to be earning a whole lot more money as a person who is operating a corporation, probably as the CEO, the chairman, or something like that, than you are as a sole proprietor. But the idea is you have to get out of that mindset. All of these things are things that we get into in this course, but I want to go back and I want to talk about this. So the median household wealth for whites is 187,000. Median household for blacks is 14,100. And that is widening because it was 17,000 the last time and 177,000. They're increasing their median household wealth and we're decreasing ours. Yet we are rivaling them in what I call empty consumerism, buying stuff that we don't absolutely have to need. I'm not talking about paying your mortgage or paying your rent. I'm not talking about a reasonably priced vehicle. I'm talking about the fact that blacks outbuy whites with Mercedes. The average millionaire, I was talking to one of my clients who happens to have a net worth of over $1 million, and she is by way African American. But we were talking about it, and she's driven Toyotas for years, and she, I was having trouble with my vehicle, and she said, "Well, you probably want to get rid of that thing, get you a Toyota. It's probably going to be a lot easier to get fixed, it's a lot easier to find the parts and all that other stuff like that." And she was talking. I'm saying, "No, I'm actually seriously thinking about it because it's giving me the business. I've had it for a while. It's done its job. I love my vehicle, but we were talking about the fact that the average millionaire, we're not talking about billionaires, we're talking about the average millionaire drives a Toyota. I don't think it's but one luxury line vehicle in the top 10 cars driven by millionaires. One, it's Lexus. We don't get the BMW. I think BMW is 11 or 12. Mercedes is even further down, and then you start getting to the other cars, luxury line cars. So there's a level of responsibility and awareness that what gets me to point A to point B is stuff like that. And I'm not saying that people are not buying it, but what I'm saying is people who really have it, especially in that level, it's a different mindset of thought. But anyway, my point wasn't so much on what you drive. My point was on the fact that we have to get out of consumer mindset. And another thing that we talk about in here is opportunity. There's this idea that you have to have a certain amount of money in order to start investing. No, you as little as $10, you can open your account. You can get into and buy your first piece of stock. I think you can buy it for less than 10, but you can get your first piece of stock. I would suggest getting something probably in a passively managed mutual fund, like an index fund, like the S&P, something that's going to have compound growth over time. But the one thing that I'm going to tell you that's real big in this course is education. Education is about learning the game. One of the ways that we lose a lot is we like to jump in stuff without understanding it. Big part of this course is educating you on understanding the different markets that you can get into, the diverse elements and components of investing and growing wealth, and the importance of putting your wealth into harder assets. The more liquid your assets, the more vulnerable your assets. The most liquid form is cash and currency, and cash and currency in US fiat currency, the US dollar, is just gambling with what you're working so hard for. Whereas you can put it into a business, you can put it into art, you can put it into the stock market, you can put it into real estate. There's so many different areas and components of things that you can do. Annuities, income annuities, especially. Once you get a certain amount of money, income annuity pays for life. Just get the right person to set it up for you. So many different things we talk about. My concern is that we are too casual in approaching this dilemma. It's not just simply about the have and the have-nots. We have to look at the rate at which the life expectancy for Black men is dropping. We have to look at the increase in the incarceration rate, which is directly correlated with poverty. Poverty is more of an influencer on incarceration than race, but they don't talk about that. I tell people all the time that racism is simply the guardian of the gate for classism. Classism is the true monster in this entire thing. Elitism, classism is the thing. That idea that the powerful 1% are pulling the strings and they're using the upper middle class as a buffer, and they're using race as a distinguishing factor of how we're going to control everything. It's all about the money. It's all about power. And the thing is, there are many mechanisms out there that are available to anyone. I tell people all about time about John Crowley. You've probably heard me mention him before. A Black man, I'm not sure if he's even still alive now, but a Black man who worked his entire career as a parking lot attendant, made, I think, at the most $12 an hour. But he happened to work in the financial district, and he happened to just stop people coming through and ask them for financial advice. They told him how to play the market. They would talk to him and teach him how to read financials for corporations and companies that were being traded publicly, so to understand how they're fiscally sound they were, and their probability of being able to survive turbulent market shifts, ups and downs, and all of that. And he took his $12 salary and built over $500,000 in net worth, and put his kids through college, paid off his home by the time he retired. So he was actually going to be earning more money retired through what he's investing than he ever earned on his job. Then there's Theodore Johnson. He's not Black, he's white, but Theodore Johnson worked for UPS way back in the day when salaries were 10 and 11, 12, 13, 14, $16,000. Anyway, the most he ever made, from what I understand, was $14,000 a year. but he had a friend who knew about investing and told him he needed to take 20% of his income and invest it in something that grew compound, that had a compound element. And the problem is with most people in poverty, we deal with compound interest, but we're normally dealing with it in the reverse, compound debt. We're normally having something accumulating debt over time to where we pay way more for it than the actual price of it because of that accumulated interest. Well, building wealth is the reverse. Remember, the number one enemy of wealth is debt. So we must first of all eliminate debt. You eliminate debt, you automatically increase your net worth. Um, One of the things that I see so much is that education plays a role in the preparation of your ability to earn money so that you can invest money, so that you can advance yourself and grow and get to higher statuses, so that you can live a life that you can be comfortable in and not stressed out about how this and that and everything is going to be paid. But it begins with the ability to do that and education. The problem is those who have built wealth simply say, well, what is your passion? What do you want? I want to be a doctor. Well, you're going to go to so-and-so law school, write the check. Same intellectually gifted black kid wants to do the same thing. Well, let's see if we can get you a scholarship. Let's see if we can do this. Now we're going to have to take out all these. So you end up coming out with, depending on what school you go to, what you get your degree in, anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 and up in student loan debt. So you start behind the eight ball. When they decide they're going to get married and they're going to buy their first home, they get seed money from either mom and dad or grandma and grandpa. So the down payment for their first home and all the closing costs is covered from the wealth that's being passed around and moved around and shifted for the family. And these aren't the extremely wealthy. These are people who are simply planning and setting up so that their children don't start out at ground zero or worse. And so we have to understand that we need to be setting our children up so that they don't start where we started. We should be passing them down something that gives them an advantage. And we should also understand that the path that we're laying through this wealth that we're building is going to be the path that our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and their grandchildren are going to travel down. We have a responsibility to lighten that load. We have a responsibility to shift this. They are never going to release the lever of pressure that comes from them owning more wealth than we did. They're never going to look up and take a moral stance on, we built our wealth on the back of your ancestors, so here's half. That's not going to happen freely. And we don't possess the power to apply the pressure. In order to apply the pressure, you also have to have some form of economic force through which you can apply economic sanction so that you can sit up and say that I can hurt your pocketbooks if you don't deal with me right. And if you don't deal with me right, you can look at me now and see that where I'm going to be able to come at some point and get it, whether you give it to me or not. So you might as well give it to me. But until then, we can talk all day long. We can sit up and let them run this bull crap about us. Well, we're looking at it in Congress. We're putting together a team of researchers and we're going to study it. Nobody else had to study when they got wrong. Everybody got their paper, but you want to hold on and talk. That's because they understand the dynamic here. There is a benefit to keeping Black folks at the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder. There is a benefit to holding Black people at bay and ensuring that they don't accumulate with any success the wealth that is possible because of what it produces and what it presents. What you have to understand is this. What we talked about, we talked about whites making up 60% of the population and owning and holding 84% of the wealth in this country. 84% of the wealth is owned by white people. They make up 60% of the population. So they have an extremely disproportionate amount of the wealth. And there's a reason why, and everybody understands there's a reason why. Nobody's going to ever do anything about it unless you go out and you get your own and you stop working against yourself. You stop sitting up thinking that complaining is a strategy, because it's not. But here's the sad part about it. At 13% of the population, 13 point something percent of the population, we only own 4% of the wealth. The problem is that 4% is highly concentrated within a small portion of the population. So that means an exceptionally large part of the population is in extreme poverty or right at the poverty line or lower middle class. A large portion, far more disproportionately impacted than any other race. You can see Latinos got a late start, and they're already at 31.7. So they've doubled. Their median household wealth has doubled that of blacks. Different mindset, different approach, different willingness to take over. Plus, there's a real big push for them to take and own their businesses. One of the ways that Latinos have made so much ground in such a short period of time is business ownership. I can look back just 30 years ago and remember when you would look at and see construction companies, the construction companies would be white owned, white managed, and the labor were Latinos. If you go around now, a lot of those companies are Latino owned, and the labor is Latino. They're keeping it within, and they've totally seized the landscaping market. It's a wrap. They've just totally taken it. And what kills me is while they were seizing it, there were so many of us looking at it as beneath us. And they've created $1 million enterprises doing what was beneath us. And we're still in last place because we have not built an understanding of how things work. When I started the research, when I put in the time to build this program, it was with the hopes that there will be people who would see the need and not get caught up in the illusion that we've arrived. I just gave you the numbers. We haven't arrived. Here is an optic that I want to present to you, and I want you to really try to pay attention so that you understand this. Here is the optic. We have some successful Black people. We have some Black people who are 6 figures, 7 figures, some 8 figures. We have some, entertainers and stuff that are up there in the 9-figure ranks, but we have some people doing extremely well, athletes, business owners, some successful attorneys and doctors, and doing real well. Here's the problem, and here's how it differs from white wealth. If you go to almost any Black person that you see that is on their game and you look at them and you go, man, they've made it, they're wealthy. They're going to be the anomaly in their family. What do I mean by that? They're the person that made it, and they're the person that generally everybody goes to when they need money. Everybody goes to when they need some kind of financial assistance. There may be 1 or 2 of them in a family, but the vast majority of the family is still behind and waiting on them to do whatever they can't do, because that's the mindset and the mentality, instead of there being this coming together of the minds and saying, okay, I made it, let me show you so you can make it, so you can show you so you can make it, so you can. And on the different side, when you look at them, they generally all are successful to a certain level. I'm not speaking overall, generalizing everybody, because there are poor white people in America. There are more poor white people in America than there are poor Black people. The difference is the percentage that they make up of the white population is smaller than the percentage of poor Black people make up out of our population. So the significance of how the race is impacted by the poverty is different. So you have to understand that, yes, there are poor white people. But here's the crazy thing. The research I've done tells me that any of those poor people ever really truly decide that they want to come out of poverty, their path to enrichment will be easier than the path of the Black person. That is scientifically substantiated. So they are just where they are. I'm cool getting my beer sitting on the back of my truck doing whatever, got caught up in drugs, whatever. But normally what you find is with them is there's a level that everybody's living at. So it's not just one successful people. All the kids come out of the home, they all end up married with median incomes in their homes of 200,000 or more, with both husband and wife. That is how it goes. So then what you're looking at is there's this concentration, not in a certain family. See, there used to be family wealth. The so and so's and the so and so's, they got that paper, they got that money, and it's one individual here, one individual there, one individual there. And then, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, there is a certain amount of us, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, that actually get off on being successful than our brothers, more successful than our brothers and sisters, or the perceived success that we have over our brothers and sisters, to the point that we are not trying to assist, we're not trying to help, we're not, because the only level of power we have is that we have over our brothers and sisters by saying, look what I did. It's, again, a perceived idea, because I still don't have any power to move anything in this world outside of what's in my space, because they control it. Anything I want to do outside of what's in my space, or what's within the confines of what my particular level of wealth holds, is now done by way of permission by them. Because truth of the matter is, there's not enough collective Black power to do that. And everybody keeps talking about, and we talk about this in the course, that everybody keeps talking about the 1.3. It started at 1.2, it went to 1.3, and now it's at $1.4 trillion of Black spending power. And everybody gasses up and says, man, we are, if we were a country, we'd be the 9th wealthiest country in the world. No, you wouldn't. You'd be the 9th most indebted ass country in the world. Because let me explain to you what 1.4 trillion in buying power means. That's not 1.4 trillion in wealth. Even if it was, it would be 1.4 trillion in a $100+ trillion economy. Still low percentage of the ownership and holding and the power of wealth. But the 1.4 trillion isn't even about wealth. It's about buying power. Here's where we really lose. It's because they're pushing the buying power subconsciously and subliminally. And we go out and we buy. But guess what a large percentage of that buying power is? Credit. So literally, in order for us to exercise the complete capacity of the 1.4 trillion in buying power, we would have to go in debt to do it, which is what? The number one enemy of what? Wealth. So in order to be truly using that, now here's the flip side of things. If I truly understand how things work, then I understand that there's good debt and bad debt. There's good credit usage and poor credit usage. Not all debt is bad debt. Debt accrued to achieve a financial goal is good debt if it's properly managed right. So in other words, if I take out a loan to buy a business, if I take out a loan to invest in a certain situation that I've done my research on, that I truly believe has a chance, and I'm ready to go for it, and I take it out, that has the potential to be what? Good debt. Bad debt is going out and buying a $150,000 car that takes you to the same place the $20,000 car takes you. It is buying more house than you can afford when you can only sleep in one of those bedrooms and it ain't nobody but you, or nobody but you and baby and one kid. But you love taking pictures and showing it to everybody, but nobody's looking at how much those houses cost. And you're looking at it, and you're looking at everything. I'm telling you, it's all good until the first mortgage payment is due. And then you're looking at it, but now you're stuck in it. And you're looking at it and you don't have a plan on how you're going to make your purchase work for you. The smart person has found a way to make the purchase work. Whether it's they found a house with a nice spread in it. And all the spread is when you're talking about real estate, you're buying property, you're buying a home, you're buying a building, whatever you're buying. Your spread is the difference between the list price and the appraisal price. If it appraises for more than what it's listed for, it has a spread. Now, there are a lot of different creative ways you can take that spread and use it to monetize the purchase, whether you invested in something else, whether you increase the value of the property by investing and doing other things and resell it or lease it or whatever. But that's what you're looking for. You're looking for good deals. You're looking for deals where there's already equity in the deal, especially on the front end. Now, if you've done your research, and you're looking and you realize that there are some areas that are soon going to be coming up for gentrification, and because we haven't done our work, we're not controlling the gentrification, you can still benefit from it. And by that way, also have some type of influence on how it's going to impact the people who are being gentrified. And that is going to be huge because I've done a lot of research and I've written on the health implications, the economic implications of serial forced displacement. Gentrification is just one form of forced displacement where you're pushing people out of the community and they're being placed by a new population and they are being dispersed. That comes with a lack and a dissipation of political collective clout and power, because now you can't vote in blocks because you are not in the same area anymore. You're being constantly dispersed and you're being pushed and pushed into areas that are already occupied by other people. So you become simply a sprinkle in a group of another sector. Well, when you are sitting up and you have done your homework on what's being gentrified, you can now get with other Black people who think like you, and you can start to acquire properties that will, by the very natural force and movement of gentrification, improve in property value. That same thing that forces people out will be the same thing that enriches you. So in other words, if I see a property and it's worth $60,000 now, and I've actually had this happen, $60,000 a long time ago before the crash and everything, but it's $60,000, and you know they're about to hit that spot. They're about to take it and start putting up Starbucks and spas and all the stuff like this, right? Which is going to immediately start to drive the property value up. Well, this is how most people lose their property. This is how people who have actually paid for their property end up still losing it: property tax. They get to the point where the property tax becomes so high because the valuation of the property is so high that they can't afford the tax. And so they end up losing the property, even though they own it, they have the deed for it. They are going to have it seized because they owe taxes on it. Then an investor or a developer is going to come by and buy it for pennies on the dollar at an auction, and then turn around and sell it or renovate it and build it and put someone in it and make way more money in it than any of them ever did it. Well, what you can do is you can come along and you can do that, and then you can actually have it come back on you. And in many instances, you can keep the people who actually own the place. You can still keep them in it. You own it now, but you're keeping them in it, and there are ways to make that work for you. And on and on and on. But here's the thing: as long as we're sitting around and we're in our ego, everybody's trying to prove they know more than everybody. Everybody is more interested in debating the next person and showing how they're better than the next person. I told you this before. I didn't come here to be liked. I didn't come here to be patted on the back. I didn't come here to be praised. I came here to bring what I've spent my life learning and share it with you. Finance isn't my hat. This is not where I hang my hat. But in order to be successful in business, I had to learn some things. I'm going to tell you, the stuff I learned from these guys let me know I didn't have a clue. Now, I'm real good at creating opportunities to make money, but I'll be honest with you. If I don't know what I've known since I've learned and interviewed these people, my life would be completely different, because one of the things that, like clockwork, every last one of them said, everybody's focused on making a lot of money, making a lot of money. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. And it's what you do with what you keep that's going to determine the long-term outcome. That's how you can get a guy who earned, like John Crowley, who earned $12 an hour and retired with a net worth of over $500,000, and had already paid off his home and sent his kids to college. He would have probably been closer to $1 million if he hadn't paid off his house and then sent his kids to college. But he did that with a $12 an hour salary, just simply sitting up and saying, these are the sacrifices I'm willing to make sure that long term, not only am I good, but my family's good. I'm gonna pass something down. I'm gonna do something that nobody did for me. I'm gonna pass something of meaning down. You know, instead of buying my kids Jordans, I'm gonna buy them stock. Then I'm going to teach them about the stock I bought them. I'm going to teach them how to monitor. I'm going to teach them how to create situations where, if you want it, create an avenue and a place to get it that doesn't require you to ask somebody else for it. Those are the things that are important. So when I created this course to literally sit up and say, I wanted this course to be so potent that if a person could just master 20% of it, it would change their lives. There are courses inside of the course. One of the courses is the seven steps to financial freedom. That course actually comes from a course I took some years ago that I paid more than $7,000 for. So I think it was 75, 95, something like that. Over $7,500 for. And I took it and I made it more robust. I added more stuff to it. I looked at it and said it could be better here. And I created and I threw it in this course. It's only about 5 to 7% of the course. But I wanted a course that if people actually got into it, that I knew something different was going to happen. The one thing that I've still looking for, and I've worked it as best as I can, is the psychological element of it. A lot of what we are failing at is the psychological element, our mindset, the manner in which we approach money is off. How we see money, how we expect money to move, what we want to do with money is off. So you got to literally get a mindset that changes you from a consumer to an investor. But some people, they're going to get into this course and it's going to immediately click because you're going to say, whoa, because that's so, man, if you want to just get excited, go to the internet and type in compound interest calculator. Type in compound interest calculator. When it comes up, now you can look at it and say, okay, how much money would it take me to retire by age, whatever your age is? If you're young, you might say 40. Well, I'm past 40 now, but you might say 40, and you say, okay, if I want to retire at 40, how much money would I need? And how much money would I need to keep coming in to retire at 40? Because I'm planning at 40, I'm planning to live another 40 years. So what I do, so you go in and you type in how much money you need. And some of the calculators will show you the reverse, which is how much money you got to put in every month. But sometimes I would just go to the regular calculators, type in, I'm going to put in $400 a month. And I'm going to put it into the S&P, which produces roughly 8.2 to 10% compounded annually. And just look at what you can get over 10 years, 15, 20 years. And I know one of our problems is we can't think that long term. One of our problems is we look for something quick, so we always take the uncalculated, unmeasured risk. Everything is a risk when you're talking about gaining something. You got to put something out there. You've got to put something out there. But the things that are going to produce are the things that are conservative, that have a long proven track record. You're not in for the short game. This isn't about day trading. This is about investing and holding. This is about creating a portfolio where you've got it. Every now and then you may look at something and say, okay, looks like they're going this way and that way, and it's been a while. I might need to drop them, and I might need to liquidate that and then invest over here or whatever. But for the most part, you're investing in things that you can hold. So you might have a part over here where you're flipping houses or something like that. But for the most part, you want to find stuff that's going to grow in value and at the very worst hold value. But you've got to have that mindset. One of the biggest mindset problems is that's 20 years. Well, here, let me put it this way for you. For the people that think 20 years to sit up and see some real true growth. No, you can see it quicker than that, depending on how much money you want to put in. That's why I tell you to play with that calculator, because when you play with that interest calculator, it's going to show you that you control your destiny. Obviously, you only have so much based off of the income you have. But you'll start looking, well, if I stop doing this, I can put this money. And you start looking at this, because the thing is this. While you're talking about, I got to wait 20 years to see the benefit of this. If you don't do anything, you're going to get 20 years from now, and you're still going to have to wake your ass up every day and go to work to a job you hate and still not have a plan on how you're going to retire in 20 more years. Whereas you can sit up and say, you know what? I'm gonna shut it down. I'm gonna live on the bare minimum. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And I'm not saying live on the bare minimum. I'm saying have a plan that you can live with, that you can be disciplined and committed to, that's gonna get you to your goal. You've got to know what it is. And one of the things we teach in this course is how to sit down and calculate how much your dream costs. See, everybody's dream isn't the same. I don't ever have to own a yacht or a private plane. Just never been one of my things, but that's the things I love doing. I love to travel. I love nice cigars, nice wine and drinks every now and then, not major. But I like to go off to secluded places and get away from everybody. And that's my thing. I want to be able to sit up and get to a point to where anything my kids and my grandkids need as far as what they're willing to build, they come to me with a plan and paw finances it. That's where my mind is. And so I have a number. And see, what you find out is what your number is. Some people may want the yacht. Some people may want the plane. Some people may want houses in the Hamptons and Martha's Vineyard and Miami and Coral Gables and all of these other different places and in Italy and Greece and all that stuff. And you may want all that. Then you need to know what it is and what it's going to take to get that. But what I'm telling you, if that's your dream, you got to do a whole lot of shifting and a whole lot of sacrificing over a certain period of time that you can't be out balling in the club, popping bottles and building that. Like I said, somebody told me something 20 years ago. Things would be a whole lot different now. But better late than never. The thing is, there's going to be opportunities also to sit up and build and grow. Like I said, I literally will teach anybody. I have the 7-day online business launch course. If you need to create more revenue to invest, 7-day online business launch. Everybody that isn't already independent wealthily should have multiple streams of income that they created online, because it's the easiest way to create business. It's the easiest way to reach out. I'm not saying it's easy in the sense that you just throw it up and it happens. I'm saying that there's no major blockages to doing it outside of you not putting in the effort and you not following through with the work, because only you can do it. Now, once you get enough money, you can pay somebody to do it. We have a done for you where we build a business for you. And if you want to pay one of the consultants, they'll run it for you till you're ready to take it. We have that. We could do that for you. But the thing is, for the average person who's trying to make it and they've got kids and they've got all this stuff going on, you need a way to sit up and create something. And here it is. You can create all this. You can get your business started. You can pay for the course, get all the things you need, like your domain site, your hosting and everything else, and set up your ad budget for under $1,000. That's pay for the course, set up your ad budget, do all that under $1,000 and watch it work. Or if you can't do an ad budget, you could do it for less than that and do organic work. Your SEO is going to have to be on point, but I teach you SEO. A lot of what I've been blessed to be able to do is simply because I was willing to put in the energy, effort, and time to learn, while everybody else is cutting out, going, okay, I got up, I started at 9, I'm off at 5, I'm done. I'm going until I get this, because my success depends on me pushing through. So I learned all the things that I needed to know to have a presence online, to be able to do things online, to be able to put 20 plus entities online in sites and landing pages that do everything from product reviews to affiliate marketing to my main sites like Master Fitness 21, which is actually the first company I ever started 30-some years ago. It's a blessing. Master Fitness 21 was initially the Stay Fit Fitness and Training. And I eventually, when I stopped working with people and actually doing training and all that stuff, I changed it to Master Fitness 21. And then I moved more into the research side of things, learning, especially as I started to do my research on epigenetics and cancer, epigenetics and trauma and all the stuff like that. Then I started doing more program development, more information dissemination and things of that nature. But it all starts from sitting up saying there's an opportunity online that nobody's looking. And now a bunch of the stuff that I do online, nobody knows it's me. So my race isn't connected to it. Only my expertise is. And that's the thing. Now, the things that I'm passionate about, that I'm connected to, yes, my face is on it because it's me and it's what I love doing. And the people who want to work with me will work with me. The people who don't won't. And that's the beauty of this thing. There's so much reach because of the technology that we have. There's so much reach that there's got to be access, but you got to work for it. Look, I said this in the beginning. I'm gonna say it again. I'm almost done. I want to thank you guys for staying with me. I believe so much in the Legacy Wealth Academy's first course. The Legacy Wealth Academy is going to put course after course after course that is going to be accessible online. You take it online and all this, but this first course is by far the most comprehensive. It's on wealth building. I believe so much in this course that I am going to give you a double for your trouble guarantee. What is that? That means that after you've completed this course, if you have not earned the money you've invested in this course back, I will not only refund your money, I will pay you equal to what you invested. So you will get double for your trouble. That's what I believe in this. Now, here's the catch. You're going to have to submit to me all of your completed assignments and the proof that you apply those principles. And you'll get to, I mean, I think that's worth it, because if you've done it, you'll have it. And it'll be right there and you'll show me, hey man, this actually happened. So in other words, it's risk-free, because you're going to get it. And not only are you going to get refunded whatever you're putting into it, if you happen to go out and invest in some things and lose, and you figure like, hey, you get up to double what you put into the course back. So you could actually invest in the course and lose $2,500. Well, it depends on when you get it. If you get in today, I'm offering a special seize the moment, $997 for today until tomorrow. If you get in, the course is $2,595, $2,595. Like I said, I paid $7,500 for just the seven steps to financial freedom course, and this was 15 years ago. And I took that and put it on steroids and then stuck it inside of a course where that's 95% more content. But $2,595 because I know who I'm servicing. And I want my people to have access to. This is specific. And I am really limiting my pocket for the amount of energy, amount of money I put into it. I'm really limiting because I'm only really putting this out. It's open, so anybody can take it, but I'm only marketing it to my people because my people need it. And my people are the least likely, unfortunately, to take advantage of it. But that's who I wanted. But anyway, for now until tomorrow at 6 p.m., you can actually click the link and sign up for $997. And you're going to get all the benefits. Let me tell you what the bonuses are. All right. And here's two ways. You can sign up even after today. You can sign up at the site, at the Academy site, and you can get, you can pay in full, and there are some benefits that come with paying in full, or you can pay as little as $495 down and break it down into payments of $225 over 12 months. So 12 payments of $225, and you get full access to the course, take the course, but you pay over time. Now, you don't get all the benefits, the ancillary benefits of a person who pays up front. But let me give it to you. Bonus number one, regardless of how you pay, is a personal planning guide to map out your future. That's a $97 value. My Life in a Year preview, $167 value. That's what we're going to actually sit down and map it out and show you, if you take these particular steps, where you can expect to be from a year from now. Lifetime access to the Epic Realm community of high achievers. Now, this is a community I created of people that I've worked with, my clients, after the fact. These are the people who have showed up and are now showing out, who worked with me. And now I have them all in one group, and I'm bringing people in to meet these people, to tap into these people. They're excited about sharing with you, supporting you, fanning your flames, giving you insight. We have everything from nurse practitioners, doctors, CEOs, accountants, financial planners, and the list goes on. I want you to have access. That is a $150 value. Free credit assessment, a $99 value. A free copy of my book, The War on Black Wealth, Breaking the Code of Generational Wealth. That's a $32.99 value. Now, here are the benefits for the people who pay up front. A 6-week one-on-one life strategy development plan. Sorry about that. Development plan. That's a one-on-one strategy development plan with yours truly. A free credit repair. That's a $795. That's done by a business partner of mine who does business structure. She helps people set up their business structure, but she also helps them professionally and correctly and legally repair their credit so that it's legitimate. They ain't got to worry about 6 months from now all that stuff coming back, like it happens a lot with all these people running around saying I do credit repair. Yeah, that they're doing it and they're getting it off illegally, and then when the people who put it on realize it ain't on there, they go back and put it on. But when you do it right, when you deal with it right and understand the laws, with that you're gonna get a free credit repair. That's going to put you in a primary thing, and then you're going to get the counseling on how to use your good credit so that you don't get back in that bind again. And then number 3 is the 7-day online business course, the one that I told you about. You're going to get that for free. That's a $597 package. You're going to get that for free. And then there's the first 2 people who enroll today will receive the previous bonuses, everything mentioned, plus you're going to get a 12-week bronze coaching and counseling package with yours truly. That's literally one of the second most popular package that I sell is 12 weeks with yours truly. And it's not just about money. It's about success in life. It's about health. It's about wholeness. It's about healing. It's about all of that. And the first 2 people who sign up today at the Seize the Moment discount of $9.97 will also get that. So that's crazy. So for $9.97, you're going to get a $25.95 course. You get all the bonuses, plus you're going to get a $3,500 12-week session, 12-week course with me. I'm doing everything I can to get this stuff in front of people who can benefit from it and grow from it because I'm passionate about it. It takes a lot of energy and effort and time that could be focused on pushing stuff to markets where I know things are happening. But I'm looking, and it really, really frightens me to see where we're at. When I went to do my catch-up research, because I say I've been going for so long and things move so quickly, I realized it had been a couple of years since I did research on where we are exactly with the wealth gap. And, I've been saying 177 and 17, 177,000 median household wealth for them and 17 for us. It's now 187 for them and 1 for us, $14,100. And to 100, that's the median household wealth. And you don't understand why there's a problem in access to education. You don't understand why there's a problem to access to good health care. You don't understand why there's a problem to access to upward mobility, and that we're struggling. We're frustrated. Our children aren't getting what they need to be able to compete because of that gap. And the thing is, there's no magic wand. Everybody keeps waiting on this magic wand to be waved where people are all of a sudden going to have money and now I can go out and do it. Here's the crazy thing. Number 1, that wand isn't going to be waved. Number 2, if they were to wave a wand right now and the money were to be distributed and everybody had equal money, within a year and a half to 2 years, they would have 50% of what was given out back. And within 5 years, they would have it. And we will be almost back to where we were, minus a few people who were smart enough to figure it out and get on, because the mindset is what's the most important thing here. You can have all the mechanisms. You can have, it's not money. People, how many people you see win the lottery and go broke in a relative short period of time? Mindset. Money doesn't change mindset. Money amplifies mindset. If you have a poor money mindset, all money is going to do is make you go through it quicker because you don't understand it. How many do you realize that both in the NBA and the NFL, that those players within 72% in the NBA, 75% within the NFL, within 3 years of retiring, are financially busted? Money isn't the answer. Knowing how to manage and move and handle money is the answer. There are people who start with a whole lot less than those guys start with and get to places where they're doing things and people are wondering. It's simply saying this is the path, and the path is the same no matter whether it was Carl Icahn, whether it was Ray Dalio, whether it was David Swenson, T. Boone Pickens, whether it was any of those guys that I reached out to. It was always the same. Their paths. There's nothing different that they're doing. There's nothing like, well, if you don't know me and you can't come this way, you can't get in. No, pick up the phone. The thing is, now you don't even have to go out and deal with a broker. You can literally get it done online. You can set up an account online and you can buy. Now, you probably want to get with someone who can teach you. This is the thing about this. It's about learning how to read financials. It's about understanding the market. It's about understanding all of the outside influences that influence the market. This is why you'll whether you ask Ray Dalio, whether you ask Warren Buffett, whether you ask David Swenson, any of those guys, all of them will tell you, I cannot predict the market. What I can do is predict how companies will perform regardless of what the market does. That's how they win. They're not winning because they predicting the market's going up tomorrow, the market's coming down. They're not buying and selling like that. They're buying strong performers and holding. I tell people all the time that when you're dealing with stock markets, you don't even experience a loss until you sell. What do most people do when the market starts to go down and prices start to drop drastically? They do what? They panic and sell. Matter of fact, Ray Dalio said that the only place where people panic when things go on sale is the stock market. And guess who's waiting for that? These people they call crisis investors. Crisis investors are the people who literally wait for the market to do a major downturn, go into crisis, and stocks plummet. And they get people panic and they buy the companies that they know will recover, and they experience the growth and they expand their wealth. If you actually look, the largest number of millionaires created in this country have all been created all the way back from the Depression on, during down times when the country was in economic crisis. Opportunities exist no matter what. So you don't panic. You ask yourself, what do I do? And then you position yourself. The epidemic hit a lot of us in a lot of different ways, but you don't panic. You say, how do I get through it? It definitely created challenges for me, but I planned it and I made it through it. And so that's the thing that you have to be willing to do, is be aware of what's going on. Understand things that are enough that when something moves, you know why it moved. We don't ask enough whys, and not just in money. We don't ask enough whys in society. We don't ask enough whys in academia. We don't ask enough whys in politics. We don't have to ask enough whys in so many different things that are happening in front of us that we just accept, or we whine and complain about. Ask why, because if you understand why, you can understand the source. You understand the source, you can interfere with, manipulate, or manage the source, and you create a different outcome. You've got to learn how to be as close to the source as possible, because the closer you are to the source, the closer you are to influencing how things happen. Look, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. I hope that I was able to send some things home. Like I said, this is a kind of unique version of Money Monday. It's not entitled Money Monday, but this is me on Monday talking about money, hoping that you guys get an idea of what it is we're trying to do. But again, over the next 24 hours, give or take, you can get this course, which is going to be regular price, which I think is an unbelievably awesome price, for $9.97, and get all the bonuses that go with it if you have paid the regular full price. Plus, the first two people are going to get the bronze package, which is a 12-week package worth $3,500. That's working with yours truly. That's me. That's where I get out. That's my area of expertise. That's my strength. I don't know what's going on with this darn camera. But anyway, it is crazy how it does that. Just in and out. Maybe it's just outside of my technological awareness or whatever, but I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time working about it. Y'all can hear me. But anyway, the thing is, complaining is not a strategy. Whining is not a strategy. Sitting still is not a strategy. It's going to require action. It's going to require strategic action. It's going to require commitment and long-term engagement to be able to get to a point to where we are doing what we need to do to close that gap. We don't close that gap, we've got a problem, because it's not getting better, it's getting worse. At some point, you become economically and politically irrelevant. When you become economically and politically irrelevant, it can get real ugly. We act like this country hasn't done some of the stuff it's done. And we act like it can't happen to us. We unfortunately grew up, many of us, in a time where we didn't experience a lot of things up front, close and personal, that we saw with our own eyes. We saw it on film, we read about it, we heard about it, and things of that nature. This the same country. Don't please don't get caught up in believing they're not. The eyes of the world are watching, so it's a little bit different in how things are done. But look at your food, look at your access to education, look at housing, look at all the things that are shifting slowly, and we are losing big time. And the only way to change that is to become involved in our own salvation. It's that simple. So on that note, look, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for dropping in. Again, the links to take advantage of this is in the description box. You'll see once you click the link to sign up for today, you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna get a certificate. This certificate is going to be given to you, and you're going to hold that certificate and submit it to my support team, which will reach out to you. And your certificate is your receipt for purchase. And what it says is you've purchased it, and you're going to be given the benefit of purchasing it at full price. So you're going to be given a login and all the stuff you need to get in without going to the site and paying like the average student has to pay. After 6 p.m. tomorrow, then everybody goes and does it the regular way. Still gets all the bonuses and the fun stuff and everything like that. The program is off the chain. I'm so excited. Anytime you put damn near a decade into building something and you get it there and it's actually up and you're looking at it, I mean, if you know, and I've already got somebody that signed up pre long time ago. He signed up. I think when I first launched it and did the pre-launch, he signed up. But my thing is, I just got it to where we're up and ready to go, and I want people to take advantage of it. But when you put 10 years or something into something, you see it and it's actually up, like ain't nobody gotta actually sign up to it. The things I learned putting that together ensures that my children are gonna be okay. I just need to stay alive a couple of more years. That's the goal. My kids are gonna be okay. But even if I don't, the insurance is gonna make sure they're okay. But I've got something, man, I'm really trying to do, and I'm trying to do it for more than just me. I want to see my people do something. Imagine all the things that we've been able to accomplish and where we were able to accomplish it from. Now imagine there are no limitation in resources because we are funding and financing our own visions, our own dreams, our own aspirations, our own creations. Our children aren't having to limit where they get their education from based on whether they can get a scholarship or not. We're underwriting the visions of our children with what we created. Oh, the game changes. The game changes. And that's what I want to see. So I encourage all of y'all, share it with somebody, sign up somebody. If you have a kid over 18, they can be in this class, because the quicker they get involved in compound growth, the more they're going to benefit from it. Compound growth, for instance, you can take a person who starts at 20 and puts a certain amount in for 20 years. And then you can take another person who starts at 40. And then at 20 years, they stop putting in at 20. You can take another person who starts putting in at 40, and they put in the same amount for 20 years. When they get to that age of 60, they're the same age. When they get to the age of 60, the one who's put in at 20 and stopped at 40 will have significantly more than the person that put in at 40 and stopped at 60, even though they put the same amount in. That compound growth is a beast. And I'm just excited because I want people to understand it. So the earlier you can get your kids in, the earlier you can get your younger family members in, the more they're going to be able to take advantage of it, the bigger of a head start they're going to have. But I don't care if you're 60. You want to get started on this because there are some things that you can do for the next 15, 20, 25 years of your life that's going to put you in a place where you're going to be able to enjoy yourself more. You're going to be able to set things up. And again, answer the responsibility of leaving something behind for those children and those grandchildren and those great grandchildren. That's what we are fighting for. We're trying to create the generational path of empowerment so that within 15, 20, 30 years from now, we're not still sitting with their foot on our necks. On that note, look, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable day, and I will talk to you sometime. I may even be back later on to talk about something else, but I definitely need to let my voice rest. I've been talking for an hour. All right. Thank you guys. Have an unbelievable remainder. Hold on, let me see. Of your day. Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick here. Hope everybody who's watching this is having an unbelievable day. I hope up until this point you've had an unbelievable year. And if you're watching it, I hope that everything that you have set out to do, you've accomplished. If not, if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. You know, that's one of my mantras. Look, I've been telling you guys about the Legacy Wealth program for months. It's something that was actually created years ago. And I've only worked with a few people, select few people, on getting it really, truly fine-tuned